Oakland, California, a city known for its culture and diversity, but also known for its level of crime and violence. CQ Press says in 2009, Oakland's crime rate ranked the third worst out of the 207 largest cities in the nation. Some youth in Oakland, like Veralia Sanchez, says the violence frightened them from going to school.
I was scared to walk to school or, to even wait for my dad outside. Like, I would tell my dad, can you come give me like 10 minutes early so I could just get out of school and get straight in the car, right? And luckily, my parents always picked me up. And if not my parents, like, they would always send somebody. But there's students that I know that would be like, why don't you come to school? I'm scared. Why would you be scared to come to school?
Veralia is a 19-year-old mother of one. She says growing up in East Oakland, she and her family had to watch out for drug dealers and shootouts.
I remember my parents would just scream, get down, because the neighbors upstairs and the neighbors across the street were, drug dealers, and they will, shoot at each other, from upstairs or where we stayed at to across the street. And all we could do was just duck.
Veralia's family eventually moved to a different neighborhood, but she says they did not feel any safer.
I was almost due. I was 8 months pregnant, and they started shooting, and I hear people screaming, the guy's name. And it was right here, right next to her house, and the guy was just laying there. He had shot in the head.
Some says witnessing a crime may have been one factor why some Oakland youth are reported not doing well in school.
At what point is this a crisis? Because we don't act like it's a crisis. We act like we got a screw loose, and that's not what I see.
Jeff Andrade is a volunteer teacher at Mandela High School in East Oakland.
So remember how Cam showed you the map?
He's one of the teachers who helped Veralia graduate high school.
When we see kids come in that are clearly distressed, we don't punish them for being distressed, right? We don't punish them for being exposed to the level of violence and poverty and general suffering. Instead, we celebrate their resiliency, right? We are amazed by the fact that they even show up.
The National Urban League says community violence is more related to post-traumatic stress disorder than any form of violence exposure.
We have found that the rates of PTSD, although they're probably understated in soldiers coming back from war, might in fact be lower than the amount of PTSD we see in poor urban communities where there is lots of community violence.
According to the Mayo Clinic, post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is an anxiety disorder triggered by a horrifying event. But PTSD is not the only illness some urban kids may develop.
You can get the development of severe anxiety symptoms, you can get severe acting out symptoms, you can have a kid give up on life because they feel that nobody cares about them.
I have friends that are prostitutes now. I have friends that are in jail. I have friends that, are working minimum wage. They're trying to get their GED now.
And because of reported low test scores in 3 Oakland schools, the state is now deciding whether or not to close them. A move that eases the state from budget problems, but frustrates the Oakland School District.
Funding formula in California is criminal. I care deeply how much money we get, and I can't say we won't do this because we don't have the money.
Veralia is now taking courses at a community college and working part-time at a discount store. She lives with her parents who help take care of her baby.
Yo espero de ella que logre lo que ha sido la idea de otros compañeros de crear líderes en Oakland para que ayuden a otros estudiantes, para que logren llegar a la universidad y ya cambie esa manera de pensar de que el hispano no puede lograr sus metas y su, pues se puede decir su ilusión de llegar a tener una profesión.